yeah, just now having the president advise that we can have a board with about 100 and or you the company. So we how we remember from the organ of idea was passionately. This part was to clarify that nothing of such of the or or so for your information today. Hearing you from things lawyer and of that exercise. Open grateful. Big those that happen. What are those? Who qualified or receive what that means for context or contrary what it is here government. We are closely getting to the state of celebrating our one. And then competition toward the independence only first and foremost national orator, Jarso. That orator is still professor for international policy on economics and political science. Comes with over 20 years of combined personal and professional experience across a broad range of PI institutions, government, multilateral and regional, as well as non-governmental and community heroes of America. Two areas and policy perspective or recovery elements as is in policy design and analysis, qualitative research, policy development, program management, post and grant writing, journalism, and strategic. Chile is highly educated Let's see the African state. African. Then double bachelor. African state. Our there are other things. We thought this 30 p.m. We the board meeting Friday the 19th. Thanksgiving the official ceremonies in observance of the 177th Independence Anniversary will take place at the Centennial Memorial Pavilion in Monrovia. On Saturday, the 27th, and interestingly, this day will be my birthday, will be Children's Socialization Day, organized by the Office of the First Lady in the Ministry of Gender, Children, and Social Protection in all 15 counties of Liberia. Over the course of last week, senior officials of government led by the Minister of Justice and Attorney General, Councillor N. Oxford 12, have been engaging with the management of Star Rubber Corporation. The engagements came in the aftermath of the violent action that took place at the plantation late last month. We regrettably inform you that the company insists on permanent closure and they've started paying off employees. This is what happens when people choose violence over peaceful engagement and dialogue. The government of Liberia is continuously appealing to the company to reconsider the decision to close and exit, and will continue to do so. But as of now, and based on their current decision, we can say that more than 800 jobs may go. Medical services being provided by the entity will also disappear. And our kids who are supposed to be schooling using the educational facilities of the company will not have that opportunity. Most critically, those who have enjoyed shelter provided by the company do not have them anyway. So we should ask ourselves, what have we gained by executing the violent actions that took place at the plantation? Government will continue to do what it can to help move the country forward, but the people themselves are very critical in every effort we will make to transform the country. When we have problems, we've got to be engaging, we've got to be peaceful. We fought a war here that killed, according to some statistics, over 250,000 persons. What did we get from it? Why are we now graduating from this constant act of violence? Why are we always taking the laws into our own hands? And in the end, we have failed ourselves and the country. What the government has done, in addition to just engaging the management of satellite, is that the government has been doing a thorough investigation of what took place there following the arrest of some of the people who were suspected of being actors. There's a preliminary funding by the Joint Security, which worked in concert with the court in Jallah. And some 88 individuals have been charged by the magisterial court. These people include a Nigerian national who were all arrested and detained. Sorry, not 88, 8 persons. So the individual charged and who will be sent to court are Joseph Tupa, Anthony Williams, Fayad Moses, Kemon Leo, James Saki Bondo, Miriam Wellman, who is the leader of the Workers' Union, Lawrence Ngongwa, the Secretary General of the Workers' Union, and Abraham Okoro, who is the Nigerian national. They have been charged with arson, armed robbery, theft of property, burglary, terroristic threat, rioting, criminal conspiracy, criminal attempt to commit murder, and criminal facilitation. We witnessed what was a security breach at the Rabat International Airport. Again, we're back in the same visual cycle. We want to portray our country as a place that is dangerous. The president has an agenda that has tourism as a major pillar. And I have emphasized over and over that tourists will not come to a lawless country. The airport is not used only by Liberians. There are visitors from other countries passing through the airport. On the day of the arrival of the former president, we have been briefed that the crowd made their way to the airport, chanting us out of the airport that they will burn down the terminal if they were not allowed into the terminal. Because of the extent of the threat, personnel of the armed forces of Liberia who are deployed at the exit point of the airport, mainly because of the drug situation that was going on, the authorities were constrained to have them deployed at the point of entry. And the very hostile crowd confronted them. Additional troops, and in this case, police PSU, were invited, and they were able to ensure that none of those who were trying to make their way into the terminal did so. And they were able to ensure also that their threat to burn down the terminal, if not allowed into the terminal building, also did not happen. We have briefed also that a few officials of the past administration were processed and allowed into the terminal and onto the airspace. there was a concern that even though they were taken there by a bus and they were to be removed by a bus, two of those who enjoyed that privilege refused to wait for the bus and walked onto the terminal, the bridge of the standards set aside by international aviation authorities. Those who were checking in that day to go through Kenya Airways found it difficult to pass through the entry to go check in because the very unruly crowd was moving about and chanting slogans and threatening to burn the airport. Yet, we want the country to progress. Who does that? So these individuals assembled at the airport because the former president was coming. The government wants to encourage the president to control his people. If you were president yesterday and you are not president anymore, does that mean you should have your followers doing things that will undermine the security of the country, undermine the progress we want to make as a country? Governance is everybody's business. As a former leader, you play a very important role in keeping the country stable and moving forward. You cannot have people under your watch creating the kind of problem we witness at our only international airport. Their action and behavior at the airport is totally unacceptable. And the government will not countenance a continuation of such behavior. We heard something from the Liberia Council of Churches. It's a good thing for the church to speak out. We know that in the immediate past, every serious organization got quiet, whether they were civil society organizations, religious groups. They were not courageous enough to speak to the ills of society. We take it as an achievement that we have created an environment where voices that were lost yesterday cannot be heard. Fair enough. The only thing we can say in addition to that is, when you speak, what you say should be based on facts. And two, just as you can see with your eyes on what you think is happening with government, the same eyes should be able to see all the other excesses in society, including those committed by your own people. Have we not seen pastors go live on radio, telling people they will die from Goa and other things? We didn't see it. What did the Council of Churches say about that? Maybe somebody here heard it. I didn't hear anything. I remember just in the past when the former president was here, very renowned bishop said people would die if they criticized the president. They didn't hear from the Council of Churches. So you cannot have your cake and eat it. Be realistic in your concerns about the society. And in saying that, we want to say that the pastor who had that broadcast runs a radio station based on permit from the Ministry of Information. The permit was granted to him based on his request of the kind of programming he intends to do. And we believe having a live show threatening that people will die, people will have Goa because they criticize you, was contrary to the purpose for which we gave you the permit. So we took it upon ourselves to invite the bishop here at the Ministry of Information. He has not cooperated. He's the president of the Council of Churches. This is to formally say to you that someone who belongs to your constituents is not being law abiding. You got to intervene, because if you don't, and if they don't honor the invitation that was extended by the Minister of Information, will revoke the license of the radio station to operate. This place will not be allowed to be lawless. There's a government in charge, and the government will do what is required of a government. We just noticed that even the bishop's radio station has not been in compliance with the registration requirements since 2020. So this is supposed to be a church that preaches the doctrine of giving to Caesar what is Caesar and unto Christ what is Christ. Having said that, it's now my pleasure to invite the Honorable Minister of Education, who will now address the question.
So, folks, hello, whoever watching from. I was introduced from the Minister of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism. Is now the Minister of Education of Jarso and Jallah for address the Information, Culture Affairs. So, kindly for joining us in Cape Town. Keep listening.
And also extend thanks to the Minister of Information and his team for providing us this platform, an opportunity to share something regarding the nuclear. With me today, I have seen that also partners in with us today. For the spirit of accountability, vision of his excellence, the Ministry of Education poised to ensure education system, while our weekly program Wednesdays for education activities, and on Sundays serve as mechanisms through which we engage with citizens and share valuable information from the ministry. It is, however, important to leverage media opportunities and public knowledge of the news. So I want to ask, what's the mission of the ministry? Minister of Education is high quality education for all and prepare future leaders who are handling the task of protecting our national heritage and enhancing the socio-economic growth and development. Based on that mandate and the arrest agenda, there are key goals that we must work with. One, set under the arrest agenda, the human development pillar 3, strengthen the national education system across early childhood education, primary, secondary, diversify and promote technical and training, and improve Ministry priorities are centered on activities, girls and inclusive education, teachers and administrators upgrading, expansion of TVET programs, monitoring and supervision, instructors. It will interest you now to highlight the state of affairs. Heritage scholarship careers for international and domestic federal WAG and WAS areas, delayed and abandoned construction projects, poor public school infrastructure, inadequate support for school operations, massive wage bill that covers 15,435 employees, of which 3,640 are female, 11,795 are male. That number, 13,001 are payroll. Of whom 2,716 are females, 10,285 are male. Insufficient qualified teaching workforce, of which 35% are credentialed at the ECE level, 5% credentialed at the primary level, 31% credentialed at the junior high level, 6% credentialed at the senior high level. These numbers pose serious risk to college. We also inherited insufficient assets, workers, vehicles, office equipment, salary disparity. Nevertheless, we have started strong. Government has made through the three departments within the Ministry of Education, been able to achieve the following. Of the 2 million that was owed in scholarship per year, 1 million was approved, of which $579,190 for international scholarship carriers of July 2022. And of the 420,800, meaning for local scholarships, 211,100 conducted a county assessment for 14 of our 50 to assess the status of collaboration with the agency, the headcount of staff at the center, strengthen the scholarship, both local and international application selection process to ensure transparency and merit-based selection. This process has yielded 8,546 plus students. Headcount completed for bilateral scholarship students for Morocco and China. Finalize the 2024-2025 academic calendar, for which is scheduled for dissemination digitally in a shortened printed copies to follow. MOE has also signed a project agreement to implement and enhance the information, sexual and reproductive health rights prevention, and response to gender-based violence and harmful practices. Also planned an enrollment drive partnering with UNICEF and other partners. Planned launch for this enrollment drive is August 2nd. Targeting counties, those who enrollment. We also support as an implementing partner with digital transformation. planned education officer vetting and placement exercise, which will commence this July, and drafted a 3-year multi-sectorial operational plan and aligned with the current education sector. Focus on key deliverables. Revise the school quality assessment and data collection tool for our annual school census. As you may be aware, the last school census also distributed 1,400 talking pens and audiobooks to 523 public schools, 6 counties of education. The Ministry of Education has also successfully developed a secure certification validation system. This innovative system, when fully rolled out, will serve as a comprehensive repository of trained teachers and is designed to produce it is a significant step forward in workforce reform, expected to ensure a more efficient use of limited resources allocated for payroll, capacity development training, mostly around HR activity, for ensuring the completion and dedication of 3 model schools being constructed in Bone County, Washington County, high-rise. Collaboration with Ministry of Health has also been supported by Site Saver and implemented school health integration programs in 5 counties: Bone, Franklin, Maryland, Jallah, and Cypress, benefiting teachers, students around site issues and other health-related. And dedicated TVET centers, along with our EU partners, in Copper and Selective. Also made available 156 selected public schools to receive microcloud learning management system. As we speak, completed installation of the solar power panels have been completed out of 156 by the IRS project. Those 156 are around the entire. I can highlight some of the county assessment findings. What we found in the field as we poured the poor education huge shortage of high teacher absenteeism, high number of volunteer teachers, adequate seating in wash facilities, effective lesson plans to guide instruction, high overage student population, high number of out-of-school children, poor learning outcomes, especially grade appropriate, arbitrary transfers of teachers and administrators without due process, minimal to non-existent teacher accommodation areas, poor data collection at the school level, ineffective school management, chronic inefficiencies in available education, abandoned and delayed school construction projects. That encapsulates findings of our 14 still have what's about a yet to complete that their results will fall that we will hitting. So one may ask, how will these findings now impact practice? One is must tighten our fiscal operations for adequate disbursements, We are introducing a biometric ID card. We'll enforce the MOE policy on registration fee, graduation exercise, and holiday celebrations. Contractors who have not honored their side of the contract with either incomplete buildings or buildings not meeting specifications or specific timelines will be held accountable. The next thing that these findings will impact is access to quality education. Strengthen our public-private partnership is by law one that we must focus on to improve our outcomes. To improve our school management, giving our school administrators the proper training to be able to manage. We'll commence our volunteer teachers' profiling and assessment of their competence and payroll position. Have appropriate pedagogical content and content-based special. That is something that is lacking in the field. We deployed guidance counselors in public senior secondary schools for improved retention of girls in schools. This is specifically important for the ministry. And that is to also change our attitude, not only recruiting guidance counselors, but also teachers and administrators. Currently, we recruit in Montserrat and place them in the county. And what we have found is folks do not remain in the county. Let's look at that strategy course. We also want to work to reduce the classroom overcrowding that we saw, construction and expansion of energy. Key to the findings and impact is monitoring and supervision. That is the setting up of an inspectorate regime. Change the mechanism for registration fee payment. So collected funds go directly to support counties, districts, and school level operations. Permit application process and issuance will now include field assessment to ensure physical structures of schools existing with the requisite capacity to provide quality education. Will enforce the completion of performance appraisals as expected. In terms of funding, have to seek additional investment. Our current ESP for 2022-2027 is tested at $967. The approved fiscal budget for sector, $111 million, which belongs to the sector. That's $28,498,400 is budget, of which 80 to 85%. Clearly see there, we need to really galvanize for investment in our sector. Our schools get yield the learning outcomes higher. So there are currently, one can say, $111 million investment both from GUL, but more is needed. In that regard, expand donor coverage to mitigate gaps in our education sector. Optimize investments through coordination to ensure an unfragmented approach to education service and support. What are the planned next steps? Planned next steps is to hold our joint education, looking at the reports from the field and discussing and dialoguing with our education and the rollout of will commence the annual school census, which we will develop and redesign teacher workforce strategy. We'll activate our national youth service. We'll develop a standardized accelerated learning. What we're finding is because students, we have a lot of out of school youth, there are partners who are delivering accelerated learning. However, we do not have a standardized curriculum by that service. So it's pretty important that we do that. We'll also complete counter-level payroll headcount audit in collaboration with CSA. Hopefully this exercise will free fiscal space, allow for new. We'll complete an overhaul of the school permitting and accreditation process and organize a donor conference to support the funding gap in operationalizing sector plan and secure additional investment. Currently, our donor interventions, we have the improving results in secondary education IRAS project, which I spoke about. Digital textbooks provided across 5. Another donor intervention currently rolling work plans, priorities, system capacity grants, and system by GPP, by the World Bank, and partners. We also have the Excellence in Learning in Liberia project and project events in 2025, where it was brought into age currently. For that has been submitted. The Liberia Foundation Skills Activities in LFSA is a music project which aims to increase the percentage of Liberian children who complete primary school well learning standards. That project is being executed long-term process. Target for that program, that project. We also have the USAID test, transforming education sector area. That aim is training capacity building. We also have the education system USAID funding project, which focuses on upgrades to the education address this particular activity. We are not data driven, but just learning. I'm planning what the data is telling. All of our data, all of our activities that we implement. This is a critical piece that is provided. Lastly, school feeding is another event provided by the World Food Program. Various meals and feeding. Just concluded the Liberian project, which focused on early childhood. Outfitting for achieve the sustainable development goals, must invest in our teachers, administrators, students, schools, and institutions, access to education, and quality of teaching. We are all responsible for the education. Parents, guardians, communities, and government. This government, under the leadership of His Excellency, Joseph Mubarak, has placed a premium on education through his arrest agenda. He, as his lieutenants, are making every effort to solicit the right financing, develop appropriate strategies, policies, on
So she's Dr. Jarso Jallah. She's the Minister of Education. Uh, Giving out some of our activities and activities being done over the time here at the Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism. Regular Tuesday and Thursday press briefing.
Thank you so much. My name is Maurice Quality. Thank you so much. So, all guys coming. So, my two concerns first of all, also, so, I want to know exactly how far and secondly, so you are economist. And the second one is you know this government power on the go of transparency move as a minister. But my name is super for your deliberation. But again, I hear you mention it tell us, and as we approach September, parents are parents can tell us that it is making this thing happen or minister every but there's no law. There's no law on the book that it's for African side. So on what basis you actually help or thank you. Basically, my question is how the generation we are aware that many of them are appreciate to be relevant. So that also gives opportunity to students to work out this escape from you know that the part of that again the university of that issue of the same by your players. Thank you so much. So on this teams power so much Mr. Yeah. where sort of K1, K2, that's a country. Have the ABC of education, K1, K2. Thus, the compulsory education, and the previous K and 6. That's one has to do with the process of mobile money. We learned that the past document was asking to the nature of education to pay the money that is collected from how to get that information on the accounts. That mobile money will be
Asked about what the moving, what the learning operations instructors to get trained, whether locally, nationally, and internationally. Here, and some of them point to money of acts about private school mechanisms for addressing the. Right now, we are looking at first assessing. The idea is people shouldn't arbitrarily have having the capacity and the infrastructure for different education. So in my deliberations, I talked about the policy regarding issues around Roberts from Joyapan talks about tertiary education, and I'm hearing much about that. If you heard the presentation, the focus of the investigation, focus to outcomes. So while you didn't hear certainly highlight this for our activity. Also asked about college. One thing I want to stress is sometimes we identify as a means for, but we really need to take stock of why community colleges were even constructed and are now available for the needs of education national, for the expansion that apply to some of these students associated with programs. So yes, there's a need to expand some more services at the community college level, but we can't just do it randomly. We have to look at the data. We have to understand the programming that supports economic development that we offer in our curricular activities that we offer within our community college establishment. We spoke about UL and what am I doing? Challenges there. By my position, expertise on the board as follow what's been continuing with all of the activities we have worked with of the board chair. That there's several activities that prior to the 4 years of, 4 months of the jurisdiction for their activities. That is also addressing transportation issues at the salary and promotion. So those are areas that collaboratively working, we're looking to address currently as we move forward to hearing the next president. James from Radio Joy, I believe. Concern is children in the streets. We have been engaged with agenda on a proposal to address this and information regarding that activity also have been developed emanating from issue with the compulsory education are still maintaining that education. Why we are also beginning our enrollment drive to conscientize community and county districts of the importance of sending. So we have incentives for coming out, sharing information, and stressing the importance of kids going. Question also, I have concern also about the mobile and under who accounts. Upon taking office, there was it was revealed that yes, school fees and transferred by the with the intention that the for operation. What I got was certain times that as I indicated in my delivery, we're looking at a new mechanism to ensure that the money that's collected stay in the school so that it'll help the school properly run the school. And we don't need a teacher or principal or to wait on minister of education. So these are mechanisms that we're looking to employ so that one, there's transparency and accountability in our system. And there's no avenue for corruption practices.
Often, yeah, go there all the time. That's what you say. You die, you go down. What are you calling it? When you call it magic, I did how that I don't know. Radio station, public comment.
Well, so what are some points that follow up with that? I want to know how to manage going to address these I also want to know what are your certain long-term goals for the education here? What strategies will be employed to achieve them? How do you do that? What frequency is that there's an issue not a Baba said a man of recent private schools. What those activities to show to Mr. Pia, we just mentioned family, Pia, who were not, who refused to buy the water out of who care to mention those things. I want to know about your recent report. I also want to know what did you see as a way and how is the government work with you through your
all those textbooks still sealed up, have been opened, and do meet international standards. Not only do they meet international QR codes in those books that students and instructors just need to scan and it downloads on their phone. So in addition to the physical books that students can hold and utilize, they also can get it digitally. And the access to those books are on the MOE website. What we found was school administrators not opening the books. There were instances, as I reported in the cabinet meeting, a cabinet retreat, that I had to break doors down to get into rooms that were storing these text materials. This is a sad day, and your point, Mr. Tapper, is well taken. If we don't have quality instructional materials, what education then are our students receiving? So they are getting up in the morning and going to school, it will be to no avail. And we wonder why their parents, especially in our rural areas, don't want to send them to school. Because if a child goes to school and at the end of the day there's no outcome, why is it encouraging me as a parent to want to send my child to school? So these are some of the challenges that we saw in the field. It's not that instructional materials were not made available. They were made available, but they were not utilized. The few schools that we saw utilizing the text were doing it randomly. Either they bring the textbook into the classroom and use it and not allow the students to take it home, for which that was the intent and purpose. Even the utilization of the QR codes, we had to retrain the school administrators on the use and the availability of that. Christopher Bestman talked about concerns around challenges facing the education system. I think my entire presentation kind of highlighted the various challenges in that regard. And allocation of resources was around the emphasis put on funding and also the emphasis put on the need for more funding and investment in education. So in the government's approach, the Excel project that we're about to complete a submission for is an IDA. What that is a loan through the World Bank. And what that IDA is going to help the education envelope to be able to expand services for creating excellence in education and learning outcomes. The short-term goal and long-term goal strategies to solve, I think I also highlighted those under what are the implications that we see from the findings in the field. Those implications are why we derive, accountability, monitoring and supervision, issues around, funding, and optimizing our investment through donor coordination.